because later in April, WoTC sent the Pinkertons after a Magic fan who had been accidentally given the wrong set by the person that he requested a set from to come to the house, intimidate and scare the guy's wife. The Pinkertons, who are such a legendarily notorious group of like renta, like
they were bigger than
renta muscle that some people said this is defamation against WoTC to say they sent the Pinkertons, a fictional evil group from Red Dead Redemption. You just made something up. We know you're lying because you made up a group that doesn't really exist, was said by some people who don't know their history enough to realize, no, the Pinkertons are all too real and were used in Red Dead Redemption from history. And that I didn't realize that they were still so active nowadays until this came up to show that yes, and WoTC even has ex-Pinkertons on their payroll as permanent staff members. But like, this was shocking to me when it happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I remember when you said, I saw that, and it was the 2 times this year that I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Live on air. And that was the OGL when we first got leaked. And I was like, come on, this can't be real. And then the Pinkertons, I was like, come on. They're not that stupid, are they? Are they really that stupid? Now, I went to school in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a long, long, long history of the Pinkertons. I know all about them. There's still people who talk about it to this day. You know, there was a lot of fights and there was a lot of deaths in the Pittsburgh steel mills and the Pinkertons getting sent after them. So I'm very much aware of their history. But funnily, a lot of people, especially people outside the United States, had no idea what the Pinkertons were or ever heard of them, even if they played Red Dead Redemption. And they were like, oh, I didn't never even heard of them. And it's like, well, now you have. And boy, they, I think because of the Pinkertons, basically, at their height, they were bigger than the U.S. Army. And that's why they were basically made illegal, because they were worried that the Pinkertons might take over the United States government at one time.
Anti-Pinkertons laws, real things.
Yeah, like it's a real thing. And people believe that the private eye comes from them because they have an eye. Because they never sleep. That's their
They still
motto.
have that creepy eye, and then we never sleep.
Yes. So all this stuff, all this history of our world is because of the Pinkertons. So that seemed a reasonable item. It's like, oh, you got the wrong box, and you did a YouTube video on this box of Magic cards that no one can remember about ever, and will never talk about ever again, as opposed to, oh, Magic the Gathering and Pinkertons are now synonymous forever. Good job there. That wasn't an
you say forever, Stephen, but I think that the thesis of one of your recent short videos is correct, which is that most people have never seen any of this stuff and will never hear about it, or if they did, they'll forget about it in a year.
Yes and no, because I did see when they announced all those layoffs, those 1,100 layoffs, they did have the greatest hits of Hasbro saying, oh, they had a string. It would be something like, you know, the string of misfortunes and misfires from Hasbro, including sending Pinkertons, you know, and that's like in a CNBC article or something, you know, this wasn't like some small thing, like they literally put that in there.
That's fair, so, but CNBC, I think, is going to remember things more than just like an average Magic player or D&D player.
The point is, it's not good optics, and now it can always be, whenever there's something negative, they're always going to talk about them in that light. I'll give you a good example. Here's my baseball analogy. There was Doc Gooden, who was one of the best pitchers of all time in New York history, and he pitched for both the Mets and the Yankees. And whenever something good happened with Doc Gooden, they always talked about him as a New York Yankees pitcher. But whenever something bad happened to him, because he had a lot of run-ins with the law and issues, it would always be like, New York Mets pitcher Doc Gooden. I was like, really? Really? Is that how you're doing it? When something bad happens, you make him a Met, but when something good happens, you make him a Yankee? Yes. That's 100% true. And same thing.
Hilarious.
So whenever something good is going to happen, they'll talk about, oh, the makers of Transformers and Dungeons and Dragons. And whenever something bad happens, you know, the people who sent Pinkertons after a husband and wife and scared them half to death. I'm like, wow. Good job. Good job, anyhow.
Wow.